Hey guys, we're back again in our ultimate quest for the perfect, true or truly wireless headphones. And if you remember last time we looked at the Jabra Sport Elite and we've looked at the Apple AirPods and pluses and minuses on both of those. We're going to have a look at those maybe in comparison to these babies, which are the Jaybird Run. I've been waiting for these for a while because I've had a pair of Jaybirds before, the wireless headphones that obviously just come with a neckband between the two things. Slightly different design to what you've seen before, different design to the Jabras, of course. Here you've just got a packet with some additional bits inside. In terms of, they all come with interchangeable wings and tips and a charging case and that sort of stuff. You know, usual stuff, and a box, blah, blah, blah. But this is the thing we're really interested in. And they come with this rechargeable case, just like a lot of the others. Useful to note that the case comes with 2 full chargers in it, which kind of gives these things, of all of them, I think, you know, you've either got the Apple toothbrushes or you've got these, which does look like, hey, I've got your cufflinks. Oh man, I love cufflinks. But this is how they come. As soon as you take them out, in fact, as soon as you open the case, they kind of turn on and connect with whatever device you've got. It's slightly different if you look than the Jabra case. Slightly different shape, but contains 8 hours of charge, which is actually 2 full charges because these babies have a 4-hour charge built in as they come. So you've got like 12 hours in total there to keep you going. So kind of, you know, not quite as good as the Jabras, 4.5 hours and 9 hours in the case. Kind of not as good as the Apples, the 5 hours and 24 hours in the case. Don't know how they do that. But let's kind of compare them now. So they do look different to the Jabras. It's up to you. I think you can get a white version of these as well with kind of a bit more white around the outside if that's what you like. They come with some tips and wings pre-installed, and to be honest with you, these fit perfect. They're very different to the tips and wings, and what I find is you have to put them in your ear and then twist them backwards to kind of lock them into place. And when you've done that, they fit very, very well indeed. In fact, of all the 3 sets of true wireless earphones that we've looked at together, these are by far the best fitting. There's another thing that they're actually good at, and that is making sound. It turns out that I've said before that I can't really tell the difference between good and bad headphones, and it doesn't really matter to me. And I honestly thought that was the case until I put these in my ears and turned them on. And suddenly I heard elements of my music that I'd not heard before, quite seriously. Not provided by the Apple, not provided by the Jabras, but provided by the Jaybirds. And they come, of course, with an app which is geared towards music fidelity and wonderful opportunities to tweak that app and to get the kind of sensitivity you want in the high, mid, or low ends that you need to really listen to the music in the way you want to listen to them. And that is the real plus points. They're not fully waterproof, but they are guaranteed sweat-proof. So you've got like I think it's a 12-month, it might be longer, guarantee against sweat corrosion. So that's something. So you can get them wet. You can't leave them in a meter of water for half an hour like you can with the Jabras, but maybe if you don't want to do that, then that's okay. They've got, similarly, kind of clicky, they're easier to click than the Jabras. If you remember, the Apple are double taps. They've got 1 click on each side. And again, you've got a little bit of option there, which I'll show you in the app, that you can switch them around. But it is relatively limited in what you can do in terms of sound up, track forward, etc. You can only do so much with them, and you know that is a limitation. But there you go, you've got some options there in the app. The big problem that these have got for me, and let me say straight away, I think of all the ones I've tried, these are lovely. They're slightly more expensive than the Apple AirPods at launch, but they're a lot more affordable than the Jabras. That's because they don't have any additional tech in terms of heart rate monitoring or anything else like that. So there is that issue there. But the slight problem I've got is honestly the Bluetooth. And I can't understand it. So when I'm using them in the gym, it's actually not too bad because I leave my phone cross on the floor and that's absolutely fine. And I can go within a reasonable range of my phone and have no cutout and no problems at all. And that's great. But the right earphone seems to be the primary connector that connects with your device and then synchronizes the left earphone. That has issues. If you put your phone in your left trouser pocket, you will notice regular cutouts. And I can't understand why that's the case. I can't understand why they haven't put better Bluetooth connectivity when everybody else has done, why they haven't done that. I only hope I doubt it, but I only hope that's a software patch and something can be done about that. In terms of call connectivity and call quality, it's absolutely fine. People on the other end of the line say it sounds absolutely perfect, and they sound perfect too. I love the fact that they go right inside your ears and they block out most of the ambient sound. They don't have the ambient sound indicator that the Jabras have, so you can't suddenly turn on the external noise and kind of listen to it through the microphones. Don't have that. But then I suppose, you can just stop your music and maybe take one out if you need to. So there is that limitation. But the big limitation for me is the Bluetooth connectivity, even to the extent where when you're making a telephone call, the telephone call only comes through on the right ear, not the left. And irritatingly, even if you're on a long call, you might then say, well, let's take the left ear out and put it back in the case. If you put it back in the case, you get a constant double beep in your right ear for some reason, as if it's hunting for the left earphone. It definitely isn't supposed to come through the left ear. I've got hold of support, and that is the case. It just comes through the right ear. Again, that's just a little bit bizarre. I don't know why they've done that. Then, of course, I've noticed another problem, which actually is, if you watch videos with these, there's a lip sync problem. Now, I don't know. Is that an iOS 11 thing, or is that just a thing? But there is definitely a marginal lip sync problem, and you can tell that the sound is not quite in line with what's being shown on the screen. That's a little bit frustrating. I've got no way of telling if it's my iPhone's fully patched. These are obviously the latest, newest model. I've got no idea why that would be the case, but there does seem to be a video movie lip sync issue too, which is a significant thing. In terms of distance I could walk down the gym away from my phone, it's about just over half as far as I could get with the Jabras and the AirPods. I mentioned earlier that you can change the settings, the button settings, etc. And there's a confirmation beep that comes through on that, and some other settings you can take. Sometimes even the earphones themselves lose sync while they're doing that. So you'll get maybe a half a second delay between the announcements in both the earphones. I've not noticed any of that happening with music or any of that happening with any of the streamed sound. But you kind of feel they didn't finish something or they didn't perfect something in terms of the software for these. I'm only hoping that is something which is going to be patched and dealt with, but there is that significant Bluetooth issue. I still think they're the best of the bunch for me. They're not fully waterproof, that doesn't matter. They haven't got the ambient sound, that doesn't matter, but they go right into your ears. You twist that, they fit snugly, and they're not coming out until you twist it a bit and pop it back out again. They're just stuck in there, whatever you do. Sound isn't brilliantly loud, but it's wonderfully and beautifully clear, and you can amend the beautiful graphic equalizer, sound exactly the way you want it if you want to stretch, like I say, some of the mid-tones or the bass or the high end. If you want to amplify that, you can do that perfectly. So I still think they're the best out there. I still think they're the ones I like. The charge capacity, great, seems fine for me. I'll put a link to them in the description. By the way, if you're finding this useful, please do me a favor and just tap that thumbs up button and the subscribe button, because that really makes a difference. Lets me know that this is of use. I don't know, if you've got a pair of these, have you tried them out? What do you think about the connectivity? Is it just me, or is it a wider problem? Drop me a comment down below. Tell me what you think. If there's another set that you think might be better for running, for gym, for sports activities than these, they really do seem the ultimate to me. The sound quality just blows everything else away. I was just almost speechless when I turned these on and heard the quality of the sound. It's quite radical and very, very good indeed. So there we go, the Jaybird Run. I've had Jaybirds in the past. They haven't let me down. I was very sad when I lost them, in fact. I don't want to lose these. Hopefully they'll be nice and safe in this case here. Good charge time, good facilities all round. Highly recommend them, unless, of course, you're the sort of person that needs to keep them in your left trouser pocket, in which case you might want to ask yourself the question. Thanks for looking, guys. I'll see you again next time.